Hello, good morning. It's still kind of early. Got to work pretty early, and I was listening to a message that I actually almost turned off as I was driving to work. And I was like, gotta get some light on here to see my notes. I just wasn't following it. It was disconnected, or my mind was somewhere else. Not quite sure. But there was something in me that said, no, don't turn that message off. Just keep with it. And I'm like, okay, I'll just keep with it. And I pull into school, and the message started talking about reconciling yourself. Reconcile yourself. And what that meant, and I'm so glad I didn't turn it off, because this is such a great message to speak to you. I have done this, so I have to say that's good, and it explains how I can do what I do and how I feel like I feel, because I have a unique ability that God has given me to really show love. At my school, it's so good because the kids know I really love them. And it's only because of the experience that I've experienced myself. And I'm getting to the point. So reconcile yourself. Torrey Roberts is the one who wrote it, he was preached the sermon, and it's called "Blessed Are the Reconcilers." And he talks about how we need to become reconcilers, but first we have to reconcile ourselves first. And so there's two parts to us. There's the now and there's the past. Okay. And he asks us to think about what in your past you don't like. What in your past are you ashamed of? Are you guilty of? Or you just don't want anybody to know? And whatever that is, you have to merge it with you now. You aren't that person. And what you have to recognize is that's not even you. The new you, the you that God has sanctified, redeemed, restored, the new you is not that old you. However, you have to say, that's a part of me. That's a part of me. And even though I hate it, and even though I wish I never did it, that's me. But it's not me. It's in order to get past that, and in order for the enemy not to hold you chained in shame and condemnation, is for you to say, that's the old me, and I wouldn't have done that now. So you have to somehow separate yourself. Own it, but in taking it in so that the enemy cannot get you, you have to say, I would have never done that. If that was me today, I would have never done that. And that's not me. That is a season of my life that I'm not proud of. I wasn't walking with the Lord the way I was supposed to. And forgive yourself, because God has. And I took some notes, and what I took is just kind of what I would like to read at the moment. It says, reconcile yourself, forgive yourself. It wasn't you. What have you done? That people will bring up your past, and that guy's dead. That person is dead. There's scripture verse that talks about old things are passed away. I don't know what you're talking about. So if someone comes to you and said, you da-da-da-da, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. And it's not lying. That wasn't you. Now, that now was not you. And the past is not to determine your present. that you've got to put that to rest. You really have to hold a burial and a ceremony for that old person. And it says the new you has to reconcile with your old. You've got to declare that we are already becoming, and that you've got to get back together again and reconcile, that God is giving you revelation after revelation, healing after healing, and he's not finished with you yet, that you have to, right where you are, you have to know that God is working in and through you. In your brokenness, you have to accept yourself. You can't go, you're right here, can't go to, you need to go. I'm not sure what I wrote. I accept your grace, who I am. I accept your grace. That was a big one. It's like we humbly kind of say, oh no, I can't, and I can't do that. I can't forgive myself. I can't allow myself to be okay. I can't move forward in health because of what I've done. And he said that we're kind of humble when we do that, but it's really a disgrace to God, because we're not receiving his grace and we're not accepting that gift that he's given us. And so it's kind of really disrespectful to God to say, no, I don't accept that gift. Like, you can't do this. I'm not going to let you do this because I deserve this. And he said, no, that it was done when he said it is finished. That, that's what the death was all about. That was what Jesus Christ came to do. He came for that. He came to give you a new life, an eternal life, and to reconcile you with his Father. And we have to know God, and we have to experience his love and his forgiveness. And I have to say that, like, it took me a long time to reconcile my old self with my new self, because I shudder at the things I did. But like Torrey was saying, I couldn't dwell in that, because God made me a new creature, and he's transformed my life, and he's renewed my mind. And so I don't dwell in the past. It's over. I learned from the past, and I have to be careful not to ruminate on some of those things, because the enemy can get you all tied up if you do that. But when you reconcile the past with your present, and you receive God's love for you, there's an overwhelming love that comes to you. Like, it fills every hole in you. Like, you need nothing but his love. And you think, is this real? Is this really real? Like, you can't even not like somebody. You have to forgive them. And when you feel that love and it consumes you, you can't harbor ill will feelings anymore. I mean, like, you can accept it as truth. It's like, yeah, you did that to me. But it's like, okay, so you did that to me. That was then. It's not now. I forgive. And we'll move forward with a different approach. And it's just a really great feeling. You don't need anything else, he says. His love satisfies to such a degree. The love of God. It's perfect. It's complete. It lacks nothing. It lacks nothing. Yeah, and I often wonder, okay, God, what is going to come at me that I am not going to be able to deal with? And nothing, and nothing is going to, nothing will take away that love, that all-consuming love that God has shown and given to me. And I want you to experience that love too, because He is everything and you really need nothing. It's not that you other things aren't good, but they just are put in a place of priority of down here instead of up here. When you lose things, most things are just materialistic. When you lose a friendship, I'm thinking, I don't even know where I was going with that, so cross that out. I don't have a thought process for that. But today, what I want you to do is I want you to get with God. I really want you to pour this out to Him and say, just tell Him everything you've done. Everything. I mean, like, it's not like it's recorded. Nobody's listening. I wouldn't advise writing it down. I did use, because someone could find that. I did make an email account, Letters to God, years ago, because I was journaling and I didn't want anybody to find it, because I hadn't reconciled with the things that I had done. And so I made an email account where I just talked to God and journaled, because I knew I was safe. Nobody could find it. And poured some things out to Him. At that time of my life, I didn't pour it all out to Him, but I always knew that I needed to, but never did, because of my shame and my guilt, and I hadn't experienced His love. I was head knowledge. I knew He loved me because the Bible said so, but not because I really knew. I now really know, and I know what you have to do, and you have to really pour it all out to Him. You have to mourn the loss of all of that. You have to own it all. You have to be broken. There will start to be a transformation inside of you that you won't be able to explain or understand. You do nothing. It all happens. God does it. He pours this love and forgiveness over you. I can reflect, and I used to say, I can't do this. How do I do this? And I was trying to figure out how Karen, could do it. And now I realize that I never could. That it is humanly impossible to do some of the things that we have to do. Only God can do that. And the only way He can do it is if you have surrendered to Him. His power, His glory, His all-consuming everything takes over your mind. And you might think I'm weird, but that's okay. I don't care. I've always been kind of called weird because I'm an artist, but I know what happened, and I know that's what it takes to be walking in freedom. That's what it takes to love others and to truly see them and to see their brokenness and to help them reconcile. And that's what His whole message was about, was being called to reconciliation so that you can help others reconcile themselves and to come to know the all-consuming, all-surpassing love of Christ. And so I don't know what you're going to take from this message today. It's a little different. But I get it. And I'm glad I didn't turn the message off. And I'll have to study and think more on it and listen to it again, because I kind of tuned out in the beginning. And I need to go back and learn what the precursor was to this that hit me so hard. And you're a new person today. Every day is a new day. Lay it down at the feet of Jesus. He washes it white as snow. He forgives. And he knows your heart. Others might not. But that's okay. Some people are not meant to be in your future. They only served a season. Some people may never see you for who God truly made you to be, because they do hold you to the past. But just know that that's not you. It's not you anymore. And knowing that really helps you to move forward and to do the will of our Father. So this is my prayer for you. Let go of the old you and walk into the newness of Christ. Have a great day.